Hi, this is Shashank. I work as a senior consultant in Infosys as of now. I've got 10 plus years of experience. Earlier, I worked for a telecom billing company called Converges. I've started preparing for GMAT around a year back, and I've joined CrackVerbal for the classes. And I've given my first GMAT in May 2017. I've scored a 640. And then my third attempt was in November, and I've got a 690 there. And yeah, I've got an admit to XLRI Institute, which is in Jamshedpur. So I'm planning to join in this June 2018. I'm from an electronics BTech background. I'm from AP, Warangal. So, and I've always wanted to do an MBA, inspired from one of my cousin. So I've tried CAT a couple of times earlier, but I think I was not that serious. And I took a break after that. And then I thought I should go for a 1-year MBA because I've already got around 9 plus years of experience by the time I thought of doing an MBA again. So that made me move towards GMAT. And yeah, I heard from a couple of colleagues about CrackVerbal. So I thought I should give it a try. So that's how I started taking steps towards GMAT. It took me around 8 months of preparation to get the score which I wanted after the classes which I've attended at CrackVerbal. I said I have an engineering background, so my quant was pretty good, but my work lacked a bit. So once my classes at CrackVerbal have completed, I have gone through the VR and QR of 2017, and so that's where I understood, like, I lack in verbal quite a bit. So it took me some time. I've gone through Manhattan sentence correction book for sentence correction, and a CR Bible for the CR, and RC, it's more of your own practice than any specific material as such. So I spent quite a good amount of time in improving my SC and CR, and that was one challenge. And another one, while working, it's pretty difficult to actually sit for 2 hours a day. So I've attended a session which Arun gave at the institute. Like he gave us a couple of tips in our batch, asking us to keep our mobile aside. When you're spending 2 hours per day, you should totally dedicate it to your preparation. And that was one tip which I've very strictly followed for a couple of months at a stretch. Every day I've spent like 2.5 hours in the night, like right after dinner, around 10 to 1, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. So maintaining this consistency was a bit difficult initially, but once you get into the flow, you get used to it. And then GMAT is more of a habit which you have to make. Only then you'll be able to get the kind of scores which you always target for. So being consistent and keeping your mobile aside, cutting away all the outside world and being yourself. So these were some things which I initially found it a bit difficult, but yeah, with practice you'll get going. The applications will have quite a lot of questions about yourself. I mean, you'll have to sit and think for hours together, right from the beginning of your school days, like what all achievements you've got, any specific things which you can portray in your applications. You have to sit and think over about yourself. So it wasn't that easy. How do I say that? Like I've actually approached CrackVerbal for applications help as well. And the document which you have given, the PPT which you have given, where I had to fill in all my details, that itself took me 2 days to fill in properly. So it's not that easy, in fact. So there also CrackVerbal has helped me in a better way. So I mean, though we think of ourselves and we put in all the points, you should put them in a proper way when you're applying to these B schools. So which ones to highlight, which ones not to put front. These are things which Shivaranjani from CrackVerbal has helped me quite a bit. I was going through a lot of articles on GMAT club forums, like how to prepare. I'm talking about the preparation part now. So many people who have got good scores like 730, 740, they were suggesting we always have to maintain a logbook where error log, they call it an error log. So even I have started following that. Like each and every question I've gone through, I try to understand why the wrong answers are wrong and the right ones right. So that helped me understand how to tackle a question in a faster way. And always timing myself while preparing was one key point which I've always maintained. Like if you once you go through this VR and QR questions, and I started practicing the OG questions, I've always timed myself. If I'm taking 10 or 20 questions, I would always time them as per the GMAT time. So that helped me a bit in covering all the questions on the actual GMAT. Many people end up losing time. Their ego gets hurt when they come across a question or a topic which they know quite well, but they are not able to solve it. So I've learned that one tip. When you're not able to solve it within 2 minutes or max to max 3 minutes, you'll have to leave it and move on. So that is one more thing which it comes with a lot of practice only. Otherwise you'll get stuck on one question. So these are some things which I have learned while practicing GMAT. And coming to the application preparation as such, in retrospect, you have to think quite a lot about yourself, put in all the points right from your 10th, 12th, any achievements you have got, and then you have to put them in a proper way when you're writing an essay. An essay is not just something where you can dump in all the information about yourself. You have to come up with a nice story, why you want to do an MBA there in each particular B school. And things change when you're applying to each of the schools. It's not like one essay you prepare and you can copy paste all of it in all the B school applications. They ask, it's almost about yourself, but they ask in a specific way. So you'll have to come up with a nice story to put it. So initially it was a bit difficult, but once you apply for a couple of these schools, I got to know how to do it going forward. I got to know about CrackVerbal from a couple of colleagues of mine. I work at Infosys. So I went for a demo class, and I still remember it was Arun's class that day in Verbal. And though I was right in the middle of a topic, I don't remember what topic they were discussing that day, but I was able to correlate. I was able to understand what he was explaining, and it was very very helpful in tackling a couple of questions which I would not have done otherwise. So that's where I got impressed with CrackVerbal, and the kind of support which CrackVerbal has given for a year long was pretty good. I've compared it with a couple of other institutes. I don't want to name it, but I don't think no other institute will give 1 year long support for the once you join. So I thought I should give it a try, CrackVerbal. So that was the initial phase of CrackVerbal. And once I've joined there, it was a weekend course, and I think afternoon were the verbal class and early morning were the quant classes by Aditya. And Aditya is one great instructor, man. Like he's awesome. So we have learned quite a lot of tips on many topics which I knew very well, and I didn't know that these tips actually will save a lot of time on the actual GMAT. So even after getting a 640, I went back to the institute. I spoke to Aditya, and he has given quite a lot of encouragement, and he shared a couple of more materials. So I've gone through those as well, because when you're giving it again and again, you end up finishing all your GMAT questions and material. So once you finish that material, it's very difficult to go through the same material again, because you tend to remember those answers, the wrong ones or the right ones, whichever you have chosen. So you need always a new set of questions to prepare for when you're giving it another time. So Aditya helped me there. And when I got a 690, even then I was a bit skeptical. Should I give it a try again? Should I go for, because all my mock tests were around 720. So I thought I should give it a try again. But then before that, I thought I should speak to Arun once. So I've scheduled a call with Arun for half an hour. I think there was a website which Likesh has sent, and I've scheduled a call with Arun. I spoke to him for half an hour, and he was like, you know what, you give it a try. Apply to all the schools with the current score which you have. And if you don't get through, probably you can try giving GMAT again. So with that, I've gone ahead and I've applied for around 4 or 5 B schools. IIM AB, Calcutta and Lucknow, because my GMAT 690 was in November. By the time I've got shortlisted with the XLRI is the last one, which generally gives out the shortlist. By then I've completed already the IIM Ahmedabad and Indore interviews. The Ahmedabad and Indore interviews went quite well. Like, it was all on a positive note. We spoke for around 20 minutes. They asked me about my profile and a couple of quant questions in Indore. And I thought the interview went well, but I didn't know where it went wrong, or maybe there was a lot of competition of varied profiles coming in, because basically I'm from IT background. So coming to the XLRI interview, a couple of days before that, I spoke to Shivaranjani. Shivaranjani is an alum of XLRI, fortunately. So she gave me a couple of tips and a good heads up, which is XLRI professors tend to show off their knowledge and wisdom, and they kind of grill you when you are not like on the top of the GMAT scores, like 730, 740s. Because I've got a 690. So I was a bit prepared to go through a stress interview by the time I walked in. And it was, trust me, totally a stress interview. Like, right from the beginning, I'm from a testing profile. So they've started demotivating me right from the beginning. The first dialogue was, testing is a very bad profile to go for. Why should we take you in? So from there, I started fighting in the interview. And then, I mean, on a positive note, I've always kept my smile on, and I tried answering their questions in a very cool and soothing way. So hopefully, though I have not answered all the questions which they've asked, on technology, they've grilled me a lot again. And I think from what I understand, maybe I looked at this stress interview like I've done it in a bad. So I think we should start right away after, once we cross 5 years of experience, especially if you are from an IT background, because not many people tell it out officially from these schools, but I heard from quite a lot of people that they have this upper cutoff of 12 years of experience. So probably around 5-6 years of experience in IT, you should start preparing for GMAT and give it off very quickly. And another one, we should always time ourselves when we are practicing. That is one important thing. For RC, it's always good to go through some editorial sections of the newspapers or read a couple of books so that your speed will be normal. That's where I've got quite a lot of information. GMAT Club was very helpful in getting to know many things. Yeah, I have a cousin who was more like an inspiration to me. So he has completed his MBA from MDI Gurgaon. So I always wanted to be like that.
Okay.
But didn't have anyone else. It's more of GMAT Club